Hello everybody. My stream about the next couple door is continuing, and this is part two. So you know that Charlotte and her husband Jacob, they went to Belgium to basically celebrate the 20th anniversary, and together they found themselves in hotel room, but they didn't expect that their coworker Mia, the nurse, came to Belgium just to hook up with them, and she was really suspicious at the beginning, but once she said her intentions out loud, we understood that she's basically just tried to take advantage of this relationship of Jacob and Charlotte's. And at the same time, she's not completely clear if this is just, something she's really enjoying, or if she's looking for something bigger, if she's having this just to split them, to make them apart. So I'm not completely sure how good this situation is, but for Jacob and Charlotte, it seems to be a good opportunity to shake up things and to just make this 20th anniversary really special day. And they did make this special. They did make this special because of involvement of third party. So if you just bring someone like Mia in your relationship, you have to expect consequences, because when you're putting third party into your marriage, and if it's a beautiful woman in your middle 30s or something like this, you need to understand that she's gonna be the forbidden fruit. Let's say she's the thing you cannot afford yourself, because if you finally get that fruit which is forbidden, you will regret afterwards. You will regret, because you will find yourself that your life is not fulfilled, and the whole time you thought that you were happy afterwards, it turns out that you're not, because this one person just can actually resurface all your problems and to make your marriage obviously not happy, because this is just how it works with human relationship. And any beautiful young person can insert that, I don't know, any beautiful person can definitely influence any marriage in some way, but if you're allowing that come to your mind, if you're allowing that to constantly getting into your head, that is definitely gonna be a problem. But if it's just a quick fling, one night stand, it's just nothing serious, if it's definitely something you will not take seriously, but just hooking up, there would be no problem at all. But me understand that there is no real strong fundamental relationship. There is no way she could stay with those two people. Jacob seems to be so uncertain about what future they will have, what future they could potentially share with Mia, because for him it seems to be just an entertainment and quick release of his professional toll, because he is like working at the same hospital as his wife, and his wife is a surgeon, and he is also some type of doctor, and together they like even imagining how Mia is getting into like position of their patient, because she got into their heads so like deep, and it's definitely gonna be like the like huge problem lately. And it's actually more influencing Jacob's wife Charlotte, because she's somehow more like into being with women, because she sees this opportunity with me more of a like a way to discover her own identity, her own like desires aside of her husband. But she just took that opportunity, and together with her husband, they were just in the situation when Mia basically just seduced them, so they couldn't just they couldn't help but to get that opportunity. And there is like suspicious gossip, going around all the hospital, and all the coworkers of Mia, of Jacob, and of Charlotte discussing how they thinking that those three definitely involved in something like more than professional relationship, because they just see them like on the photo together in Belgium, and this is definitely something like unprofessional, because they went together in another country, and they just saw the photo that they basically noticed Mia on that photo of Jacob and his wife. And at some point, the TV show becomes way too complicated for me. Basically, after episode 4, there is a lot of information to digest. I would prefer something more grounded in terms of how this narrative, developing throughout the season. I would prefer something like season 1, because I didn't remember something this complicated in season 1. There was a lot of focus on houses and neighbors, coming over to each other's houses, and they definitely didn't bring that much of a, complicated twists that season 2 has. Season 2 is way more like overwhelming. For me personally, I would rather watch something more grounded. And we even have the a lot of good characters, but they cannot help this complicating narrative, to be easy to digest. It's still too much. And someone is bringing calling for Mia from another country, and we know that she has some connections in Norway that she never broke. She never broke her connections with her ex, and basically her ex is another character who I'd rather not to bring up because the TV show overall didn't really develop that storyline properly for me to understand who he is. He's some type of therapist of Mia's, but at the same time, there is this hospital when they're working, and the main focus should be on this hospital and the neighborhood, because this is the couple next door TV show, and focusing too much on that international connection of Mia's, for me, seems unnecessarily too much, really. So she should be interesting character once we focus more on her professional life and on her relationship with Charlotte and her husband Jacob, because this is the main point of the couple next door TV show. So they should be going to each other's house, and they're going to explore even more that threesome thing. So they hooked up once, and after they hooked up, they didn't really have any chance to reconnect again. Only Mia and Charlotte hooked up again, and Jacob, of course, he's pissed off because this idea of threesome basically was his wife's, Charlotte's idea. Basically his wife is initiated somehow this triangle, but Mia was only like, instrumental for this threesome. To get it work, she was like kind of easy target basically, but they were easy targets as well. The marriage was shaking, and it's so easy to notice. And Jacob is definitely seeing this Mia and Charlotte like the initial intention of threesome, because it wasn't about him, it was about them. It was about two women just finding themselves in this triangle, and he's like left out, and he feels like he basically being used for their own goals. He was like neglected basically in this triangle. And for Mia, it's not completely like this. She sees this way more complicated. She thinking still that her role in this triangle to seduce that couple next door, her role is just to bring them that joy, and they will discover and navigate that themselves. She is just showing them that there is some other way to lead your life, to do love, to be intimate. She's just showing them that you just cannot think that traditional way is just exclusive way. It's not that. And from her work, Jacob and Charlotte, of course, were two people who come so close to Mia since they are her neighbors. But there is another person who is basically became a huge friend of Mia's. And she came over to Mia's, and she basically told Mia that you need to play some type of game if you want to just get along with everyone at work and at neighborhood. You should be way more, calculated with your words. You cannot just say whatever you think. It's not like, in England, it's not a good thing, basically. especially at work, you should be way more professional. And she, in return, she's trying to help the new friend of hers with finding a partner for her. And basically, she is pairing her with her neighbor Alan, who was in season 1 the weirdest person, that character who was staring at his neighbors to sneak onto their private life, to basically, he was basically peeking to see the intimate moments of his neighbors. He was the weirdest dude in season 1, but in season 2 he's gonna change, and they are a lot of focusing on his change, and they can even make him like, completely new person by pairing him with someone normal. And Mia is serving as like matchmaking person. She is a matchmaker, and she was kind of matchmaker in Jacob and Charlotte's relationship. Even though she was participating in the triangle, she triggered something between those two, which was missing for so long in that marriage. They were missing the spark. She definitely brought that spark in that marriage. And she's kind of matchmaker in this TV show overall. She's trying to put people together when she sees someone is single, when she sees that like person needs communication, she will do something about it. And this is something good about this TV show, that it's not only about the freaking troubles and how you can just go and hook up with someone and your marriage will still be safe. Like, it's not only about that, but it's only about it's only one thing, that trouble and your neighbor, super attractive woman. That neighbor is more of a complex character, and this is a good thing about the TV show overall, because it's getting more like profound and not that shallow concept of the couple next door TV show, because simply make it just to hook up for married people and then make the final just some kind of happy ending, or just another like final we have seen so many times. This time it's bringing something really different, and it's bringing a lot to think about your relationship, about your like choices. And Charlotte specifically thinking about that, she chose her husband Jacob because he was basically sensible choice. She didn't like choose him out of real love or like deep connection. And her friend, basically Leo, was the other choice, which she didn't make, but she is some kind of regretting that she didn't make this choice, because Leo now is way more of a, I would say, fulfilled person, which seems to be really enjoying his life. And once he came over to Charlotte's, they like feeling that they have more connection that she has with her husband. Like, and throughout the TV show, Charlotte showing that she can be more satisfied with another people. And she's questioning, of course, her life, like, why I cannot just, be with the person I feel like I would be more happy with. And she has even that plane ticket that they were supposed to get on that plane. They were supposed to be together getting on the plane, and that never happened because she never came. She basically stood Leo up. She stood him up and she left him, and she chose Jacob, her husband, current husband. And the threesome thing is overall made her thinking about her choice back then with Leo, her love. And now it's even more putting pressure on her life, because there is her husband Jacob is, lingering around with his thoughts about Mia, and that one night just changed a lot of things for him as well, because now he is wavering about his part of in this family, because Mia just brought something that seems to be way more for that marriage than just one night. She did bring something like to think about, and she's like giving hand with a lot of things to Charlotte. For example, she's looking after her dad when he was wandering the streets. He was like seriously ill man. He was really like losing memories or something, and he was basically confused where like his house and where just a house of his neighbors. So she basically gave hands to Charlotte with a lot of things, and to give something in return. Basically Charlotte came over to express her gratitude, to show how appreciative person she is. And together they basically found themselves in this situation when they cannot keep a distance at work, because one night just changed everything, and now they just cannot keep distance between their homes as well, because if someone you just fancy so much is your neighbor, it's so easy to just find a moment to go and get that person and to find that person, because you're just so close to that person. And it's even more pressure on you, because you think that you can move on, but you cannot move on that easily, because she is next to you. She is right there. And Charlotte, of course, she basically used that opportunity once again, but this time it's with no husband around. There is no Jacob, there is no third party, and this time it's just definitely cheating. But once they hooked up, everything in this TV show turned to a completely different direction. It's like, I have been watching one TV show and after specific episode, like episode 4, I'm watching completely different TV show, like, which is more complicated and too much for me, and I'm just completely losing all the tracks, like what is going on. And should they focus more on this relationship between neighbors and less on that hospital, like, mess, because that was too much for me? I would definitely keep watching this, and we need to, like, at least appreciate that 4 episodes are decent 4 episodes, but episode 5 and 6 were completely focused on hospital and their work life, not the neighborhood. Even though they tried, but it was obviously too overwhelming. It was overwhelming. And like, I would definitely recommend this, but I wouldn't like tell you that you would like it, or like to have any expectations for this. Just take it as something not that serious, really, even though it's trying to be that serious, but in a bad way rather than in a good way. It's not like that TV show that's supposed to be that serious. It's supposed to be way more of a, secret connections and somehow mysterious, but not that too much of a criminal and mysterious as it is. So season 2 went too far with this mysterious boyfriend of Mia's and his return in, like, her life, asking for that money that she stole from her family or something. And she has like loads of money from Norway, and she brought it like to England, and she's definitely affording her this house due to the money like she stole from Norway. And that boyfriend is still looking for that money, and she's like telling that she spends all the thing, that there is nothing left. And apart from that storyline, there is another storyline with your neighbor Alan, who is that weird person from season 1 who was basically telescoping his neighbors and their intimacy. And those storylines, they are okay. They should be there, because it's just the whole plot just like, basically holding that like storyline. And once you just put more focus on neighborhood, it would be really like balanced, good to watch. So thank you for watching this stream, and that was The Neighbors, The Couple Next Door TV show season 2, and first part was yesterday. You can find it. Thank you for watching. See you later. Goodbye.